Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We have new Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker footage to break down, and we have early reviews of the Mandalorian series, so we'll break it all down. Because tickets are going sale on Monday, I'll do giveaways for movie tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Star Wars moment on the video. We'll start with all the new footage, then we'll talk about the Mandalorian reviews. There were 3 separate new teasers, starting with Kylo Ren's new TIE fighter based on the TIE Advance flying through the desert. It's probably part of that same scene that we saw in the very first trailer when Rey gets ready to jump over it. There's a bunch of new TIE fighter designs in the movie. This should not be confused with the new TIE Whisperer. This is actually a one-sheet of all the new character designs and the new ship designs. If you're a big toy collector, this also kind of reads like an instruction manual. These are all the new toys that you need to buy based on the new movie. Kylo Ren's TIE fighter, based on an improvement of the TIE Advance design Darth Vader used in the original trilogy. Of course, Darth Vader fanboy who based his look and his helmet on Darth Vader's designs would do the same thing, copying a lot of elements from the design of Darth Vader's TIE fighter. There's the smaller Sith TIE fighter colored red to match the red Sith Troopers armor. I'll talk about them in a second because it seems like Emperor Palpatine has something waiting in the wings in this crazy Force-looking storm with all these classic-looking Star Destroyers and classic-looking TIE fighter designs modified for all the Sith Troopers. There's the regular old TIE fighters, just recolored. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Oldies but goodies. There's the Special Forces TIE fighter from the more hardcore TIE pilots. More weaponry, more maneuverability. And then the newer TIE Whisperer, which is the same basic idea as the Special Forces TIE fighter, but they've silenced the classic TIE fighter howling sound that the engines make. Just made for more stealth missions. There's a bunch of other designs here that we could talk about, including the Knights of Ren. I'll cover them in just a second too. There's probably going to be more footage of them in the next big trailer. The other footage seems like it comes from really early in the movie, Rey saying goodbye to Leia, maybe for the last time on this Endor-inspired Force planet, just based on what they've said and what we know about Leia's scenes in the movie. The way they cut that first big trailer with Luke's Force Ghost voiceover talking to Rey about how they were passing on their legacy to the younger characters while Leia was hugging her, it just gave the scene a sense of finality. It's all because Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed away before they shot the movie. They said that they used a lot of digital effects wizardry to turn Leia's deleted scenes from The Force Awakens into seemingly new scenes during Episode 9. So it won't be that uncanny valley digital version of Leia that they did for Rogue One. It'll be real Carrie Fisher in the flesh. They just photoshopped the real Carrie Fisher footage into this scene. This looks like it's just Rey, Chewie, Finn, Poe, and C-3PO in the next scene right after that Leia goodbye scene, climbing into the Falcon to take it to this very Tatooine-inspired desert planet, arriving at this new nomadic city. Even though they shot a lot of the desert stuff for Jakku in Jordan, and this was shot in Jordan on these desert planet scenes, I believe it's meant to be a new planet that we haven't been to before, but they haven't confirmed that yet. Just for reference, all the desert scenes from Episode 4 and Return of the Jedi were shot in Tunisia, so even though it looks very similar, it's shot in a very different place. Clearly you can tell though, thematically, how they're mirroring the movements of the original trilogy. For instance, in Episode 4, you start on Tatooine, a desert planet. At the end of that trilogy in Return of the Jedi, you wind up back on Tatooine in the desert.
There's nothing to see. I used to live here, you know.
You're gonna die here, you know. Convenient.
Then in The Force Awakens, you start on a desert planet, Jakku, and now in the final film, you seemingly find yourself back on a desert planet. Whether or not it's Jakku, how much they're mirroring the movements of the original trilogy remains to be seen. But there is a lot of mirroring to Return of the Jedi, on purpose of course. We find ourselves on an Endor-looking forest planet, no Ewoks in sight though. We find them going back to the wreckage of the second Death Star from Return of the Jedi, and Emperor Palpatine is back. Cue Darth Plagueis, the wise explainer.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I know a lot of you are asking if Anakin Skywalker is going to have a cameo during the movie. I'll address that in a second because there was some weird stuff that Lucasfilm did earlier this year, not allowing Hayden Christensen to go to a Comic-Con panel. Like, why would you prevent him from doing a Comic-Con panel if you didn't want him to accidentally not give anything away? I've seen a lot of everyone's Palpatine theories and a lot of Dark Jedi Rey theories. I still think that all this Dark Rey scene stuff that we saw in the last trailer is meant to be a vision of a potential future that could happen should Emperor Palpatine be successful in coming back. In early speculation, I do think that Emperor Palpatine's essence is trying to inhabit someone's body so that he can physically come back from death, just like during the Dark Empire comic series during the 90s. If you haven't read that, it's fantastic, but technically it's not canon anymore.
He's trying to enter one of the clones. Must destroy them all. Cut through the cloning chamber.
I am young again. I will live forever.
The reason why everyone keeps going back to the Dark Empire theory for all this new Rise of Skywalker stuff is just because of a couple specific shots that we saw during the last big trailer. During the Dark Empire comic, Emperor Palpatine made contingency plans for his return. He has large stores and warehouses hidden all over the galaxy with Sith artifacts, Jedi artifacts. One of the biggest and most important ones is deep in the galactic core on the planet Biss, a planet that's very strong in the dark side of the Force. He has a hidden armada with a special super weapon. It wouldn't be Star Wars if there wasn't a special new super weapon in every different series. He also has hundreds and hundreds of younger cloned versions of himself around the age of 18, so he's basically trying to transfer his Force consciousness after the events of Return of the Jedi into a younger version of himself. We'll have to wait for some more footage in that next trailer to see if they confirm any of these theories, but I'm not expecting them to copy-paste any specific storyline. Most of the biggest twists and Force abilities are all covered during that stuff, and slowly what they've done with new Star Wars is re-canonize a lot of the expanded universe. They've also done the same thing during the Mandalorian series, bringing some stuff back into the canon. Even though the footage they've given us so far is cut in a very confusing way to try and mislead you, I'm getting all these Return of the Jedi flashbacks watching it, and until they give us a bunch more footage, my expectations are that the ending will be a twist on the ending of Return of the Jedi, where Vader tried to kill the Emperor, but maybe this time Kylo Ren will be successful. Redemption of Ben Solo. I think that's what most people are expecting. There'll be some sort of redemption for Kylo Ren, who is also part Skywalker by blood, the Rise of Skywalker. But addressing the Anakin Skywalker cameos, because we haven't had Hayden Christensen involved in the new trilogy that much, a lot of people are expecting that because this is the final film of the Skywalker trilogy, and Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, is such a big part of the Skywalker saga story that they will find room for him to cameo either as a Force ghost or in some other way. But now talking about the early Mandalorian reviews, they screened about 30 minutes of footage from the first episode for critics. Everyone was going crazy about it. It's all the feedback that you want to hear about a new Star Wars series. Most of what I've seen is that classic Star Wars fans are really hyped up about what they're doing with The Mandalorian because by design it's made to be very classic Star Wars. It's taking place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so it's before the rise of the First Order. They just invited a bunch of journalists to a news conference where they screened all this footage, and during that they revealed that they've already started the first week of filming on Season 2 of The Mandalorian. So they've already renewed it, and it sounds like they're going to premiere Season 2 next year around this same time, which I think is great that it's back on a regular schedule. I've seen a little confusion in the comments on the Mandalorian trailer videos because obviously he's doing the Boba Fett thing where you never see him take his helmet off, at least in the trailers. We'll probably see him do it during the series. A lot of people are confused about who that is, so if you didn't watch the first teaser, he actually speaks during that. It's Pedro Pascal that's playing the Mandalorian character. You don't know what his actual name is, they just call him the Mandalorian, which is a riff on the classic spaghetti westerns like Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name. He actually does have a name, but it's not like characters in his movies walk around saying his name all the time. They're also spinning up to shoot the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series early next year. There's no release date for that yet, so they could drop it at any point. I have a feeling, though, that they'll try to drop it during a different part of the year because it'll also probably be about 8 episodes, which is what The Mandalorian is. If you're a big fan of Dave Filoni's Clone Wars and all the Rebels stuff, he also teased that we would see characters from the Clone Wars animated series appear during the live-action series. He didn't say Ahsoka was going to show up, he said just wait and see, so that pretty much confirms that we would be seeing some classic characters come back. I will be doing episode videos and Easter eggs for it, but this is the full episode schedule. So the first episode drops when Disney Plus launches November 12th. That's on a Tuesday, but then the rest of the episodes, for the most part, will air on Fridays. They didn't say what time on Fridays they would be releasing those episodes, but it'll be the same time for the most part for everyone that has access to Disney Plus. And if for some reason it hasn't rolled out in your country yet, then I would just recommend you look for another way, quote-unquote, to watch it. They moved the date for Episode 7 just so that it doesn't conflict with the theatrical release of Star Wars Episode 9, but for the most part, it's once a week every Friday. Everyone post your reactions in the comments below. I will name a giveaway winner when I do my next big Star Wars Episode 9 trailer video Monday night, so look out for that. As long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you'll see that video when I post it. Everybody click here for that last big Star Wars Episode 9 trailer video, and click here for the Avengers Infinity Saga trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.